Hi, everyone. Are you confused by all of the different energy laws in New York City? There's local law 84 and 87 and 33 and 97. Where do you even start with figuring all of this out? Well, it turns out that now there's Latitude Compliance, and today I have the great pleasure to have with me Molly Rotberg and Adina Banayan, who are going to help us figure it all out. So welcome, Adina. Welcome, Molly. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
How did you start with this company? How did the company start?
Okay, so our core is Promont. We're a construction development firm in New York City. And about 2 years ago, we heard about Local Law 97, but we didn't think that it was legit. And the more that we looked into it, the more we realized how aggressive it was going to be on building owners and on the city financially and strategically. So we developed the program for the last 2 years, and we launched about 6 months ago. We've been extremely busy since then, and we found a very simple solution in assisting owners from inception to compliance.
Wow, that's amazing. So a general contractor, and you both worked with this general contracting firm, and you found this need to solve a problem, and here you are. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
And what makes, with all of your construction background, does it make it easier for you to be able to navigate Local Law 97 as opposed to anybody else?
Absolutely. I think the difference between a contractor or a standard consultant or designer is that we understand the intricacies of building. We understand the day-to-day operations because we're doing massive renovations and ground-up construction. We know the ins and outs of all the difficulties with state approvals, city approvals, day-to-day construction. So we're able to kind of see the idea, the innovations, the plans, the methodology, and actually input them into the construction and make sure that it's sustainably built.
Wow, that's really not Local Law 97 that's going to affect most buildings, because buildings are now going to get fined, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit about how that's going to work?
Sure. So I don't know, most people know what the penalties are going to be. Failure to file is 50 cents per square foot per month. And then it's $260 over your allowable metric ton per square foot. And those penalties can range depending on your deadline date, and depending on your building data. Your penalties could be anywhere from $4,000 a year to even $1 million or $2 million a year. It's very serious, and that's part of why we started Latitude Compliance is owner advocacy. Understanding that their choice to do these retrofits and to be sustainable and cleaner for the environment was taken away from them with this local law, especially after COVID, when so many buildings were financially affected, when people left in droves. Tenants didn't pay their rent, they couldn't evict them. So our owners that we have, they're kind of stuck. So we want to give the power back to our owners by collecting the data, urging them not to make certain retrofits if there are going to be incentives and grants and abatements that they can use towards their buildings. So we're really, like Adina always says, we're the owner's best friend, and we have their best interests at heart. We provide all the data, all the implementation plans possible to amend their building and help it run efficiently.
That's wonderful. And so we also see ourselves as the owner's best friend, or the Co-op and Condo board's best friend. So we have something in common here. We're both best friends, right?
Correct.
So Adina, how can you tell us more about how Local Law 97 is like the umbrella, and then everything else, all the other laws fall under that?
Yeah, for sure. It's really what you were mentioning before, how everyone's getting confused. There's 87, and there's 33, and even 88, the lighting and sub-metering, and if you're familiar with 92 and 94, new roofs, so it's constantly, there's so many new ones. The way that we look at it is we look at 97 is one solution that can help you solve all of compliance for all ESG related laws. So we look at it as one package, because a lot of times when we evaluate the entire building performance, we're able to see a solution that can help you not just through one law, but through many of the laws. Sometimes they're always pretty much interrelated. So it's looking at the whole thing as one picture instead of breaking them apart. And
that's exactly how we've looked at it, because I mean, realistically, you have all of these laws that end up as one. The only thing that really matters right now, it's not benchmarking, it's not reporting an Energy Star. What really matters is that you're going to get fined. I mean, that's really, that's going to be, you know, how they say that the largest motivator is death. Well, this is as close as we're going to get to death, right?
No jokes. Yeah.
So yeah, and we had someone recently who called us and said, well, we're not 50,000 square feet, so therefore we don't have to comply with local law 87. 87. Yeah, well, that's true, but you're still going to get fined, so we still have to do exactly the same measurements, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how do you operate? Do you do the work yourself? It sounds like you're very familiar with the incentives and the financing and the compliance, so the filing and all of this. But do you do the actual work, or do you use subcontract out and bring in vendors who actually perform the work?
So typically we sub all the different trades out. We have partners and alliances in every single field, and we're still growing. So anyone who's watching this, they're more than welcome to give us a call and give us a demo. There's always so many more new exciting innovations and ideas, and people who come up with better ways of building, of mechanical systems, windows even. So we sub out each part of it, but we facilitate the entire process. We make sure that nothing falls through the cracks, that the entire phase out is complete, from the data to the implementation plan, the solution, execution. Then you're going to have to find a designer that's very well versed in energy code and reading the report. You're going to have to get multiple designers, possibly not just an architect. You're going to need an MEP engineer. You're going to need to get contractors. You're going to need.
Wow, that is, I mean, that is such a fantastic service in an environment when it's so needed to have your service. Do you have any competitors?
To be honest, we don't see any. We haven't met any competitors yet. For the most part, it's people that we can work with. At the end of the day, it's it's affecting so many buildings in New York City, obviously, but also most of the people that we've interacted with, they are dealing with something in specific, like a specific trade that can help lower their emissions, but it's not taking the building as a whole, and it's not offering a compliance from the initial until the end, like the way that we are. And it's a little bit, I guess it's a little scary to take on all that. That's why maybe a lot of people are not taking that step ahead. So we haven't really seen any competition, but more like people that we can work with. So
that's wonderful. We don't have any competition either, but I think that your service is so forward thinking in an environment where a lot of boards and the whole industry really is just putting their head in the sand and not taking the appropriate measurements to solve this issue in order for them to prevent being fined.
Absolutely.
And nobody wants to be fined. Well, I want to thank you so much both for coming and visiting me and chatting for a little bit. And I'm going to be posting this on social media. And thank you so much. And thank you everybody for listening in. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.